Today, we are going to talk about a reality that is rarely shown in full, a reality that millions of people inside Iran are living every single day. The title says it all: no water, no power, no control, and behind these words is a deep and complex crisis that goes far beyond headlines. Iran is a country rich in history, culture, and natural resources. Yet daily life for ordinary people has become increasingly difficult. What we are seeing today is not the result of a single event, but years of accumulated pressure. Economic strain, environmental mismanagement, political isolation, and internal governance issues have all converged at once. Let's start with water, because water is life, and in Iran it has become a symbol of desperation. Many regions across the country are facing severe water shortages. Rivers that once supported agriculture and cities are drying up or reduced to polluted streams. Farmers watch their land crack under the sun, unable to grow crops that sustained families for generations. In some provinces, people rely on water trucks that arrive unpredictably. Long lines form under extreme heat, and tensions rise as supplies run low. For rural communities, this means migration. Families leave their homes not by choice, but because survival demands it. Urban areas are not spared either. Major cities face rationing, pressure drops, and warnings to reduce usage. For many households, even basic needs like bathing, cleaning, or cooking become daily challenges. When water becomes uncertain, dignity and stability disappear with it. Electricity is another critical issue shaping everyday life. Power outages have become frequent, sometimes announced, sometimes sudden. In summer, when temperatures soar, blackouts turn homes into ovens. In winter, outages mean cold nights without heating. Industries suffer heavily from unstable power supplies. Factories shut down temporarily or reduce shifts, leaving workers without income. Small businesses lose customers and equipment gets damaged. Each blackout chips away at an already fragile economy. Hospitals and clinics are forced to rely on backup generators, which are expensive and not always reliable. For patients, this creates fear and uncertainty. Something as simple as electricity becomes a matter of life and death. Behind water and power shortages lies deeper mismanagement. Infrastructure in many areas is outdated and poorly maintained. Large projects were launched without long-term planning, draining resources and damaging ecosystems. Dams diverted water in ways that helped some regions while destroying others. Environmental experts have warned for years about groundwater overuse and climate stress. These warnings were often ignored. Now the consequences are unavoidable. Lakes shrink, soil turns salty, and dust storms become more frequent, affecting health and visibility. Economic pressure makes everything worse. International sanctions have severely limited Iran's ability to trade freely. While sanctions are aimed at the government, ordinary people feel the impact most. Inflation rises, the national currency weakens, and basic goods become more expensive every month. For many families, salaries no longer match the cost of living. People work multiple jobs and still struggle. Young people with education and skills find no opportunities and dream of leaving the country. This creates a sense of stagnation and frustration that spreads across generations. Protests have erupted in different parts of Iran over water shortages, electricity cuts, fuel prices, and living conditions. These protests are often spontaneous and local, but they reflect a national mood. People are not only demanding resources, they are demanding accountability. The response to these protests has often been strict. Security measures increase, and information becomes tightly controlled. Internet disruptions during unrest, make it harder for people to communicate and for the outside world to see what is happening in real time. This leads to another layer of the crisis: control. Control over information, over movement, and over public expression has tightened. When people feel unheard and unseen, anger grows quietly, even when voices are silenced. Daily life under these conditions takes a psychological toll. Constant uncertainty creates anxiety. Parents worry about their children's future. Students question the value of their education. Hope becomes fragile, easily shaken by the next price hike or power cut. Yet despite all this, people adapt. Communities support each other in small but meaningful ways. Neighbors share water, families pool resources, and informal networks help those in need. This resilience is one of the most striking aspects of Iranian society. However, resilience should not be confused with acceptance. Many Iranians are deeply aware that these problems are not inevitable. They see other countries with similar climates managing resources better. They know solutions exist, but require transparency, planning, and trust. Trust is perhaps the most damaged resource of all. When promises are repeatedly broken, confidence erodes. Announcements of improvement are met with skepticism. People wait to see real change rather than words. The younger generation feels this especially strongly. Connected to the world through technology when possible, they compare their lives with peers abroad. This comparison fuels both ambition and disappointment. They want opportunity, freedom, and stability. Women are also heavily affected by these crises. They often manage households under scarcity, finding ways to cope with shortages. At the same time, they face social and economic barriers that limit their options. Their voices, however, have become increasingly central in public discourse. Rural communities face a different but equally harsh reality. When water disappears, agriculture collapses. Livestock dies, entire villages become unsustainable. Migration to cities increases pressure on urban infrastructure already stretched thin. Environmental damage adds a long-term threat. Once fertile land becomes desert, recovery is slow or impossible. This means today's water crisis is also tomorrow's food crisis. Without serious intervention, the cycle will continue. Energy production is another paradox. Iran has vast oil and gas reserves, yet struggles to provide consistent power domestically. Aging facilities, lack of investment, and inefficiency all play a role. This contradiction frustrates citizens who know the country's potential. Healthcare, education, and public services suffer when budgets shrink and resources are misallocated. Teachers strike over low wages, doctors leave the country, patients pay more for less care, the social contract weakens. Internationally, Iran is often discussed in terms of geopolitics, nuclear negotiations, and regional influence. While these issues matter, they often overshadow the daily struggles of ordinary people. Life inside the country is far more complex than political headlines suggest. It is important to understand that Iran is not a monolith. Experiences vary by region, class, and background. Some areas cope better than others. Some families are shielded by wealth or connections. Many are not. Media restrictions make it difficult to get a full picture. Independent journalism faces obstacles, and citizens risk consequences for speaking openly. Despite this, stories continue to emerge through social media and personal networks. When we talk about no control, it also refers to the feeling people have over their own lives. When utilities fail, prices rise, and voices are ignored, people feel powerless. This loss of agency is deeply damaging. At the same time, there are debates within the country about reform, policy, and future direction. These discussions happen quietly in homes, universities, and online spaces. They reflect a society thinking critically about its path forward. The future of Iran depends on addressing these fundamental issues. Water management requires science-based policies and regional cooperation. Power infrastructure needs modernization and transparency. Economic recovery depends on both internal reform and external engagement. None of these solutions are simple, and all take time. But acknowledging the depth of the crisis is the first step. Ignoring reality only allows problems to grow until they explode. For viewers outside Iran, it is important to look beyond stereotypes. The people are not defined by their government or by crisis alone. They are individuals with dreams, talents, and resilience. Understanding Iran's reality today means listening to these lived experiences. It means recognizing the human cost behind statistics and slogans. No water, no power, no control are not just phrases. They are daily realities for millions. As we reflect on this situation, the key question remains: how long can a society endure such pressure without meaningful change? History shows that when basic needs are unmet, something eventually gives. This is not a prediction, but an observation grounded in human behavior. Stability requires more than force or control. It requires trust, opportunity, and dignity. Iran stands at a critical point. The challenges are immense, but so is the potential for change if lessons are learned and voices are heard. The path forward is uncertain, but ignoring the crisis is no longer an option. Thank you for watching and taking the time to understand this issue more deeply. If you found this explanation helpful, stay tuned for more discussions that go beyond the surface and look at the realities shaping our world today.